Hi, welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. I am so glad you're here. Today's date is Sunday, December 8th, 2024. Well, in this video, if you're a newer viewer, I need to let you know that I don't just look at current events. I also look at topics that deal with information and speculation and hypotheses about where our plane of existence is going and some of the influences on it. Now, some of those are measurable. We've talked about things like the Schumann resonance, and indeed, I plan to mention that in this video. We look at solar activity. We look to see sometimes if there's correlations between scientific data and more what you might call a woo topic type of data. And this is going to be one of those videos. So if you just like when I'm current events and I look for correlations between hard data points and possibly postings from a group that we admire and reference, then you'll want to skip this. But you know, if you're open to the thought that our reality is influenced by more than just what we see and hear and recognize in the now. And I can't see how you wouldn't be. I mean, we all know dogs can hear whistles that we can't hear, and that there's spectrums of color that humans see that we know some animals can't. So we know there's more, depending on what our species is, than what we can perceive and know. And I just feel like part of what we should be doing is not just looking at current events and giving that energy, but giving energy to saying, hey, we are spiritual beings having a physical experience, and we can explore both aspects of that experience or all influences on that and maybe be better people as a result of it. So that's today's preface. So you know what's happening. Again, if you're current events only, I wish you love and light, and I'll see you. The next video will be current events. I promise you that. And I can promise that because I'm going to try to do two tonight. So we'll see, but I really wanted to do this one first. And what is it? Well, last week there was an announcement. I'm going to a share screen. I did a compilation for you on my Laura's View and Tarot 2 Twitter or X account. I'm going to take you, there's three links there. If you don't like to use, the X platform for whatever reason, I will try to be sure to mention where I found things. And then if you want to do a little research or further reading, you're welcome to do so. Okay? Well, let's go to that share screen. Okay, so it doesn't have a graphic, so it might be easy to miss. Right now it's at the top, but I put a lot of memes and stuff up, so it won't stay there for long. Earlier this week, the this is your hard data point. Okay, the Joint Science Operations Center announced that because of a flooding issue, that the virtual solar observatory was not going to be giving out any recorded data after November 26th until sometime in 2025 when repairs can be made for the outage that occurred. Seemed like it raised a few eyebrows and caused some speculation. I'll just leave it at that, okay? Well, I thought, now that's a hard data point. For some reason, they are not sharing solar activity, and there has been a lot of solar activity going on. Not only solar activity, but the Schumann resonance has been, over the last few days, doing some very unexpected, lots of white recordings on the Schumann resonance charts, which is very, very high energy. And again, solar activity's up. Now, the JSOC is not the only source of solar activity information, but it is one of the larger and better known ones. So I wondered, is this only the fact that because they're, a bureaucratic institution that they need a lot of time to effect repairs? Or have they been incentivized to slow walk them because of things that are going on? And so you can kind of see where this tarot reading is going to go. Well, then I wanted to look at just some data points that are coming out, not so much data points, but speculation and the information that has been shared with us on less hard science channels. So I went to eraoflight.com. I did a search on solar flares, and sure enough, there is an article out today about solar flares. That we are in the completion of cosmic cycles of the spirals of creation as the solar flares now being released hold very powerful sacred patterns or sacred geometrical forms, which are activating the illuminated portals within our spiritual bodies for transcendence. That's just the first paragraph. Again, this was Era of Light. Both, in fact, both of these are that I went to because I thought I want to see what kind of the esoteric community is saying about the solar activity and things that are going on. And then the next article I found was from yesterday. And according to this, we're actually experiencing something of a time warp. I'm going to just give you a brief summary of what this article says, because I thought it was really interesting. It says that numerous beings on our planet anticipated a significant upheaval to take place during our current time space. The anticipated chaos did not manifest the way that was foreseen. We are witnessing a reality that has begun to transform in unexpected and positive ways, kind of like me, as I've done this journey of waking up. I'm going to read that again so you can see why I'm saying there's a correlation, and you may identify with it too. We are witnessing a reality that has begun to transform in unexpected and positive ways. You are witnessing a remarkable phenomenon akin to a time warp, where the positive energies have rearranged your reality, effectively allowing you to sidestep the foreseen catastrophic events that were once thought inevitable. So, in other words, guys, we've jumped out of a timeline where things that were horrible and inevitable may not be the case anymore. Our collective vibration, once heavily influenced by fear, division, and outdated belief systems, is now evolving to embrace love, unity, and a greater understanding of our interconnected nature. As the time warp unfolds, it invites individuals to explore and to recognize the power that lies within them to influence the course of their lives and the world around them. You know, we talk about that energy flows where attention goes. And so I just see some real big correlations with this. In essence, the time warp serves as a reminder that time is not a rigid construct, but a fluid continuum that can be navigated with intention and awareness. And we've talked about that too, how time is kind of a false construct. Okay, now the last little bit that I got from this article, and again, this is just a few, I'm not getting them out of order or trying to misquote the article. That's why I want you to be able to go to it if you want to. As you embrace this new understanding, it opens the door to a future that is not bound by the limitations of the past or a daunting future. It allows for the emergence of new realities that reflect the highest aspirations of your human spirit. You have now stepped into infinite future possibilities of enlightenment. Enjoy the ride. Isn't that great? And we've talked about that too, that we're going from dark to light. So again, started with that genuine press release and then went to see what was being talked about and chatted about solar activity and things like that, you know, in the kind of the woo community. And Era of Light is a nice site to go to for some of those compilations. Now, that article that I did some quoting of, I want to be clear. I'm not sure that I agree with everything that was mentioned in the article. It hasn't been necessarily my experience, but the things that I did quote, I did very solidly agree with. Absolutely. One of the things I started talking about was some experiences, an uptick in experiences with people seeing what we used to call UFOs, things like that. And I do know, and I'm not questioning that. In fact, there were a couple of sightings in my former hometown of Wasilla last night that I was in a chat group that was discussing it. But I didn't want to get into that. I really just wanted to focus again on, because I think in all due time, we're going to have lots of understanding and lots of disclosures and see lots of things. And, you know, even in our, again, in the 3D reality that, or 4D, hopefully, that we're living in, they're acknowledging that there have been encounters with other life forms, things like that. So that has, and if they took so long to admit it, it was kind of like a non-news item when it happened. But I wondered, and curiosity and things you wonder about are great things to take to tarot cards for, additional insights and information. I wondered if, as I mentioned earlier in this video, if that extensive repair and the lack of reporting about solar activity has to do with maybe some misguided, in my opinion, attempts to um, not report some very big and important um, energy changes to our reality. And energy, solar energy is energy. So we got the solar flares happening, and we've got lots of people saying, hey guys, we're in the middle of upgrades. There's lots of things. Schumann Resonance is doing some unusual things. Again, verifiable data. Are they trying to obscure this and slow walk the understanding, the knowing in the human collective that we are, as we wake up and shake off that programming, we're making some of these changes happen. If there has indeed been a time warp where we just, they folded it and we went from, instead of having to go through all of these experiences that were really negative, just kind of went boom over here. And that we're in a better reality because of the fact that we are opening ourselves up to the idea that, hey, I'm not sure if I can manifest things, but I can sure try. And I'm told that I will. And hey, I do believe that energy can be transformed but not destroyed, and my attention is energy. So I'm going to mindfully put it on this and this. And I may not be able to observe or measure a change, but I might be part of it, whether I get the confirmation or not. A lot of us are doing that now. We're just realizing, hey, I don't need to perseverate in these old thought patterns or old beliefs or old worries. We're starting to turn off mainstream media and say, all they want to do is make us afraid or tell us what to think or how to believe. And people are turning it off and they're starting to go, okay, so now I need to figure out for myself, what do I think? What do I believe? And we're doing it. We are doing it. So I'd just like to ask if there's some truth in the speculation that there's a misguided attempt still going on to keep us from knowing the scope and depth and breadth of some of the energetic changes happening in this planet on this, well, I should say plane of existence, just to be really, really accurate, plus additional insights and information the universe wants us to know. So I'm going to move a cat, get rid of some kitty glitter, which is what we call a fur on the tarot table, and I'll move the camera and you can watch me work with it. But I gotta gently move a very, nicely resting 14-year-old kitty, but she picked the wrong place to have an extended nap today. So, all right, I'll be right with you and we'll look at the cards together. Okay, we are going through a period of some really intense solar flares and activity, some Schumann resonance, unusual activity, and we're being told that some of the ways and means of measuring and reporting that are down for the foreseeable future. So it raises the question, is there a deliberate attempt to keep us from knowing what is going on with our sun and our plane of existence and our timeline, plus additional insights and information the universe wants us to know? In the meantime, what is it with our pets? My cats are very light in color. They are both, to some extent, rag dolls. Nova's not a purebred or full-blooded, and I'm not so sure about Allie. But anyway, the lighter they are, the more they're drawn to a contrasting color, vice versa. So I've seen black labs that love to lay on a white surface, and I've seen white cats that are drawn to black. So as soon as I put this black velvet up, Allie was claiming it for hers. And after I finish this video, and possibly the one after it, she can have it for now. Okay, let's see what's going on. Is there truth in that speculation? Let's find out. Okay, we've got the Five of Pentacles. and the Eight of Pentacles, Page of Cups, Seven of Cups. Got our hard yes with the Ace of Cups. Oh, silly, silly powers that used to be. Just let us know the truth, okay? You'd be surprised at our ability to deal with reality and affect changes on it. We've got the Emperor for an insight card. We have the Moon for a secondary insight card. Luckily, not quite as impactful as the first one. So let's take a look at these cards and get a couple more. I'm going to talk about the just the intuitive nudges I'm getting, and then the elements of the cards that kind of bolster up those intuitive nudges, because I've shared with you before, and I'll share it again because I know I do have newer viewers. In my opinion, anyone can learn to read the basics of tarot cards. That's one of the reasons I show you the elements in the cards that I'm seeing that tell me there's something. Now, because I believe we can all use them to some extent, I kind of use the comparison that uh, newspapers are written at a third grade level, and you're considered literate when you can read a newspaper. A third grade level reading level is considered literacy. That doesn't mean you're going to go on maybe and do a proofread of a doctoral dissertation or read War and Peace or something like that. But you can get to the basics, and I try to help people do that. And I do it just because like I said, I very much believe that this is an intuitive tool that people can use, and you shouldn't be totally mystified. And that way, if you watch other viewers and you know, hey, I know from watching Laura's video that this card typically means this, maybe not good news or something like that, and someone tells you something different, you can see if a reading resonates with you. And I want you to be very able to use your discernment and critical thinking, even on mine. I mean, if you think I'm taking a wrong turn, just tune me out and turn me off, okay? I don't mind. That's the former teacher in me. I want you to be able to think for yourself. I want you to be able to teach yourself. I want you to be able to disagree with someone that you may still respect, but just on a point or another, you disagree. Well, let's take a look here at what's happening. We've got the situation, and I'm smiling as I say it, with the Five of Pentacles, which usually talks about kind of going, willingly going our own way, even though in previous times, the official structures of the church and such would offer people, food and shelter if they would come in and convert. There's people that willingly said, no, thanks, I'm going my own way. And the human race is going their own way. We're stepping outside the structures and information of the past, and it has made some really nice changes. So that reporting that I was sharing with you that said that we have had some shifts due to the fact that our human collective conscious is starting to be more intentional about where we put our energy and know that it is important and it can manifest changes. Those changes are coming about as a result of our changing thought patterns and just that inner knowing that we have that, thoughts are important and they can be directed. And so it's making a change. It really is. Now, in the recent past, got the Page of Cups showing up here. Now, cups are kind of our emotions and feelings and things like that. But the Page of Cups is one that also talks about connection and guidance. So it's really cool to know that there has been some, I think, and believe there's been some guidance in some of the changes that we're making in how we think or view energy and types of energy or energy that we recognize and marshal and use. And we've had a little guidance with that that's been really nice. And then I think we're getting a nod to the fact that, yeah, that reporting about a time warp, this usually talks about a nice surprise that's happened. So they were saying that because of some progress and changes made by the human collective, we were able to just step over some timelines that had certainty of negative events, just could not be avoided. So that was our nice. We've kind of learned to go our own way, to think for ourselves. We're just in the beginning stages of it, okay? But even at that, it's made some very positive changes. And one of those, the gift to us, was that jump onto a timeline that's much more positive and much more able to unfold in ways that are going to be amazing and not physically difficult or emotionally as difficult as people learn new things and, move forward. Now, we have the choice. Current. With our free will, we've always had choice. We've had a choice to wake up or not wake up. We've had a choice to say, hey, thoughts are energy, and energy can be directed and used very positively. And I want to use mine positively, or flip side, choosing not to use it positively. But choices are still going to be made, and they're going to be honored because, again, it's a free will universe. So it does look like, well, as a collective, we all did this. There's still some choices, and there always has been, for people to choose not to wake up, to choose, a different path or whatever. It'll be honored. Now let's look at the near future. Here's where, because it didn't matter where it showed up, the ace was my hard yes to the yes or no element of my question. So yeah, there is still a misguided effort on the part of people that consider themselves to be authorities and or in charge. Like I said, the powers that used to be, or still wish they were. They're trying to obscure some of this information. But there's enough people like me that are coming out and saying it, like, don't feel silly if you think that this energy is important, or your thoughts matter, or that we create our reality with our thoughts. Don't think you're silly. Not at all. The Emperor showing up here for the strongest insight card. And I think that's just a nod to the fact that we've got some very benevolent energy that loves us dearly, that is helping us. And whether it is our white hats, the Alliance, or benevolent off-world, or divine in nature, whatever your lens, is willing to accept, we have had some guidance and some support, and we've had, again, that support of, hey, give people a chance. They're going to surprise you. They're ready. And if they're not ready, they're ready to be ready. Okay, now we've got the other card here. The moon card often talks about lies and being deceitful. So even in the future, what it's saying is this, just because we are aware that they are trying to obscure some very valid information and data about what's going on with our solar activity, our Schumann resonance, just the energies that are hitting our planet or encompassing us and what have you, that's going to still kind of be the case. But I don't see, at some point, they're going to have to just throw their hands up in the air and go, I give up. I give up. No matter how we lie to them, they're not buying it anymore. I just give up. Now, let's get a couple more cards and see if there's further data on this. We have the Chariot, which is the main thing that card means is triumph. Okay, so yeah, I just said they're going to give up. Triumph, boom. Okay, and determination is showing up here with the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands, humans have the high ground for the changes that are coming. Okay, we have the ability to make it happen. We're going to be a stronger collective, and individually we're going to be stronger, more beautiful, and we're going to be learning or relearning some really wonderful things in the coming months and years. Okay, King of Pentacles. And the human race sovereignty is kind of a nod to our sovereignty, which we're starting to embrace and claim. And then the Queen of Cups, our final card, balancing some of this strong masculine, divine masculine energy is the divine feminine energy here. But the Queen of Cups is always saying, emotional intelligence. It's not just all data points, guys. And it's not just all woo topics. There's a blend of them. There's a marriage that can happen with those, and just like we should have some blending of our different energies, our own personal divine masculine, divine feminine. We need to find a way to blend and work them together, and just to not only listen to information with our eyes and ears, but with our hearts. So she's all about that. Just say, don't discount what you know with your heart. Don't discount your discernment. In fact, use it and wield it. And so that's really kind of cool, I think. Let's recap. Okay, we looked at a hard data point. The fact that on the 26th of November, the Joint Science Operations Center that is located, I believe, out of Stanford. Don't quote me on that, okay? Because I'm looking for it here and it's not jumping out at me. But anyway, that it had suffered some damage and they would not be as be giving information about as extensive as they have in the past because their virtual solar observatory is down right now. I thought it was also interesting that they said that prior information is available through November 22nd, but this flooding happened on the 26th. I thought, I wonder if there's something in that 4 day interval that they just threw up their hands and said, there's no way to obscure this. We're just going to have to pretend like we can't get to it. I wondered. So anyway, I came on and we looked at that and we looked at some data from the era of light, some data that said that we were in the middle of some big solar cycles that were ending, and it doesn't take much looking to see a lot of people talking about solar activity and unusual Schumann resonance and things like that. So where we went with the tarot read for today, we asked if there is still an ongoing and, in my opinion, misguided effort to obscure some very valid changes that are happening to the world around us that are energetic based, whether it be solar or whatever it might be, and plus additional insights and information. Always do that so that the universe can just chat with us and give us some information. First of all, we did get a hard yes. Yeah, unfortunately, it is misguided. But it is still ongoing, and that seems to be more what's going on with that Joint Science Operations Center slow repair and getting back online. Has to do more to some extent with trying to rather than sharing some really unusual data and asking to find out more, they've decided to try to obscure it to some extent. Now, the human collective, collective conscious, we are walking away from some of the former standard means of information or the limits we thought were imposed upon our reality, whether it be information or um, data that is valid and worthy. So more and more of us have said, we're gonna decide for ourselves, we're gonna dig for ourselves, we're gonna research for ourselves. And that's being celebrated and honored. Now we're at the beginning stages. We got a long way to go, guys. Long way to go. But because of that, one of the things I had shared in my compilation was the postulation that we had had actually kind of a time warp jump. And so we were now in a plane of existence that doesn't necessarily have the chaos and destruction and calamities that other paths would have had for us. That because of this collective consciousness growing and our energy wielding, that we have kind of jumped a puddle. And that's what the ace was about. We jumped that puddle, guys. Now, the our knowing, uh, our changes, what have you, have come out with that nice surprise. That nice surprise was the jump that was I mentioned in that reporting to a timeline that's much more positive and has a lot more added potential for us moving forward. So I thought that was really, really cool. Um, there are some wise and wonderful, powerful influences that are very happy with the changes that many of us are making as far as understanding what our energy is, how it can be used, and the importance of some skills and abilities and knowledge that formerly was either dismissed, discounted, or obscured from us. Now, the efforts to mislead, misguide, and to misreport are still going to continue, but with less and less effectiveness. And at this point in the read, I had to see 7 cards down. I said, at some point, I think they're going to just raise their hands up and go, we give up. We can't contain people anymore. They don't buy the fear narratives. They don't buy this. They don't buy that. And then boom, the next card that came up when I got my 4 additional cards was the Chariot, which talks about triumph and often shows when there's a move going on. Another little nod to the fact that move onto a, from a time warp may have some validity, is shown with this card here. The determination of so many of us to be thoughtful and very intentional about where our energy goes via our attention, and our determination to learn what we've been told we didn't need to learn or that we've been mistaught is really a big part of what's going on here. Ultimately, it's all part of the human race being able to claim their sovereignty and have an unimpeded path to explore our possibilities and embrace them and achieve them. And then the final card, Queen of Cups, said, your emotional intelligence is very, very important. You're starting to understand that. Use your discernment, what I call trust your gut, because sometimes slang terms that we have used for years and years we didn't realize was actually powerful advice. So trust your gut is regular everyday talk for use your discernment. And that just means be smart about what you hear and trust whether, hey, I'm buying it or I'm not buying it, or I need to hear more, or whatever it might be. And as I said in my video, that includes information that I share with you. Okay, I don't ever deliberately get things wrong, although I do, as you notice when I mixed up the frequencies in a recent video. I don't deliberately get things wrong or share with you things that I don't think are true and valid, but I'm human, I'm imperfect, mistakes happen. And so even when it comes to me, feel free, discern away, okay? And as so many of you do, when I make a mistake, tell me about it. I just wish some of you would look and think, she's already had 50 people tell her this mistake. But if you want to be person 51, I'll try to smile my way through it, okay? All right. So, I mean, what are you going to do? Just admit, hey, I'm human. I make mistakes. I don't do it on purpose. Appreciate you guys setting me straight and setting one another straight. And hey, let's go on and have great lives, right? Okay, so that's it for this video. Thank you for going a little woo with me as we looked at some possibilities that may have been happening in conjunction with solar activity and Schumann resonance changes and things like that. I thought it was kind of interesting. The universe did say, yeah, there's a connection. There is a connection there. And changes are coming and they're good ones. So hang on to that, folks, okay? So until next time, if you're willing to receive it, I send you love, light, and I wish for you everything bright. That tweet that I created that had the links, I'll have that in the video description box if you want to go look at those directly. Okay? Thank you. Bye.